Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's been a while, but I got a brand new movie review for you guys. This time, it's Scream 5, or as they decided to call it, Scream, because, that's what movies do now. I guess that's what they do now. I don't know. I went in this movie with the lowest possible expectations. It's been a long time since a Scream movie, and the last couple were not very good either. The first Scream movie, I think, is one of the best slashers ever made, okay? It's really, really good. It subverts expectations while also being actually genuinely scary. But they kind of sucked after that. And I expected this one to suck too. But I was actually pleasantly surprised. I'd say I haven't seen all of them, but I do think this is probably the second best one after the first one. They did a pretty good job with it, which is super, super surprising. But let's just get into what I liked. Obviously, the opening scene is a ripoff of the first movie. It's in the trailer. They're obviously going to rip off the opening scene from the first movie and do their own spin on it in this one. And actually, it's good. I thought it was gonna be cringe. I thought they were just gonna redo a bunch of things and then add a bunch of like weird techie stuff in. Like like in the trailer they have the girl using like home auto lock technology shit. But no, it was actually a really good scene. It was tense. It was fun. Like the phone call stuff was all goofy and fun as always. And the killing was pretty good. And another thing that I saw in the trailer. Okay, the movie had a really bad trailer. The trailer made it look like such a bad movie. But another thing in the trailer that I was not looking forward to is that Ghostface looked like a badass. He looked like he was just always there and always killing you. And that's not what he is. He is slow and stupid and really easy to beat. People like punch him in the face and he gets knocked out like so many times. So many times he fails. He fails a lot because he's just some dude, you know? And he's just like that in this one too. The trailer did not do him justice. He was just as I remember, man. Just as goofy, just as shitty at his job as always. Okay, love it. What else did I like? Some of the kills were okay. Some of the kills were cool. They did some cool, gory little things, and they were kind of fun. Sometimes the characters would just explode with fucking blood. I don't really care. It was kind of fun to watch. All right, I liked some of the kills. Some of them were not as cool, but everyone, there's got to be a little bit of good, a little bit of bad. Speaking of a little bit of good, a little bit of bad, the jump scares. Sometimes there was a good jump scare that I did not expect, and like a scene where it didn't really make much sense. Sometimes that did happen. Sometimes they sucked. But we'll get to that later, okay? The jump scares were actually pretty good sometimes. Like, there were some that actually got me, which is surprising. I expected no good horror at all in this movie. And the story in this movie is actually pretty good, too. It's not a 10 out of 10 or anything, but, like, for what they could have done, I think they did a pretty good job. Much like the old movies, everybody is related to somebody in some way that doesn't really matter all that much. But it's fine, and it's interesting enough, and it gives people connections and reasons for things to happen. And the actors all did a pretty okay job. Some of them were really shitty. Some of them were pretty good, too. Especially Huey. Huey from The Boys. He's a cutie. Loved having him in this movie. What a sweetheart. It made me happy every time he was on screen. But yeah, the story in this movie was pretty strong. Like, it wasn't a great story, but it was a fine one, you know? They did it all right. They didn't fuck it up. And as you can see in the trailer, and as you expected, the old characters came back. The returning characters. You got Dewey, you got Gail, and you got fucking Sydney. I never really liked any of them that much except for Dewey, but I think they all did a pretty good job in this movie, and they didn't take away from the story either. Like, they were all there, but the main focus of the story was not them at all, and some of them were not in the movie that much either. Like, Dewey was in it a good bit, but the other two, I mean, they weren't like cameos or anything. They were definitely there for parts, but they were not a main part of the story. They were just there like, yeah, Ghostface is back. We're gonna shoot him. That was pretty much it, and I was fine with that. They had a couple fun one-liners, a couple fun references, and Dewey had a nice connection to the story, and I liked it. I think they did the returning characters actually pretty well. What did I dislike about this movie? Some of the scares were just so dog shit. There's one scene, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, and it's where one character is just walking through his house. And every time he opens a door, like I say, if he opens the fridge door, scary music starts going up. Oh, scary music! What's behind the door? The door is blocking our view. Is there gonna be Ghostface behind it? But he's never there. It's literally the entirety of the scares of the scene. It's just doors. He just keeps opening doors and it keeps making scary noises. But there's nothing's gonna happen because Scream is all about subverting expectations. So yeah, there's nothing behind the door. And then when it's not making a scary noise, then you know he's gonna get jump scared. It was so fucking obvious to guess, and it was so shitty. And then the main thing I can complain about is the meta shit. The meta shit worked back in like 1990s, but there's so much meta bullshit nowadays that it's so annoying. It is so annoying. Sometimes I liked it, like when it's just kind of doing a little bit of a meta thing. It's kind of fun. Referencing the first movie and stuff. But sometimes it's really annoying. There's a scene where there's obviously going to be a character that knows they're in a horror movie because it's a Scream movie, and there's a whole scene where they're just explaining, okay, they're trying to make this thing, and it's going to be like this, we could expect this to happen, but not this to happen, and this and this, and it just gets so convoluted and confusing and stupid, and they keep making up words, and it's annoying, and I just hated it so much. These kept being meta so much, and it was so stupid, dude. It was so annoying. The meta shit got on my nerves so bad. So bad. That's definitely the worst part of the movie. But sometimes I welcomed it when it was not as shoved in your face and it was just like a one or two line, you know? And then the next thing, or I guess the last thing, is the decisions in this movie. Again, Scream is a meta movie. So the characters are like, oh, I'm not going to go outside because if you go outside alone, you're going to die. So a character will say like, oh, I'm not going to go alone because I don't want to die, you know? It's like, oh, cool, they're making a smart decision, you know? They're being aware. And then a second later, they'll make an even dumber decision. Like, it's so stupid. This guy's like, oh, I don't want to go upstairs and have sex with you because what if you're the killer and you kill me? And then a second later, he's like, oh, she's sad and she's outside alone in the woods. Let me go alone to say hi to her and see if she's okay. Like, it's so stupid. The decisions they make in this movie don't make any sense because they seem smart for a second, then they do the dumbest thing I've ever seen anybody do in a horror movie. Overall, though, this is a pretty solid movie. For a Scream sequel, I think it's as good as they could have gotten, especially for Scream 5. They did a good job 5 movies in. It's not as good as the original, but I'd say it's a pretty solid movie. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. I think if you like Scream movies, or if you just like slasher movies, you should go see this. I think you'll have fun. And if you don't, you'll probably shit on it. Like, I think anybody who doesn't like this kind of stuff, this is going to be exactly the kind of stuff they don't like, and they can make fun of it. So I think it's a pretty good movie for anybody. That's about it. See ya.